Hi guys. I hope that y'all read the pages that we talked about yesterday. So my question for you guys yesterday that you were supposed to answer was, is Gumtropolis a real place? And how can you tell? So just looking at this picture here, it is a cartoon drawing, but it looks like a real place. There's people, there's buildings, I see trees, I see a road, but the name Gumtropolis, just knowing what I know from the map and knowing what I know about the world, this isn't a name of a place that I've ever heard of. It sounds pretty made up to me. So I am going to say it is not real. And to make sure it wasn't real, I looked it up. And it's not a real place. It is in fact made up. Now the second part of the question was, how can you tell? So this story, first of all, we talked about that it was fiction. And also from reading pages 3 through 6, I discovered that it is a story about a girl who is pretending to be a superhero. And she's making this story in her head about a place called Gumtropolis, and that this is where she's a superhero. So that's how I'm able to tell that it's made up, because I know it is made up because the story is fiction and the main character is making up a story about a superhero. So that's how I know that this is not a real place, without looking up the name of the city, Gumtropolis, and just going based off of what the stories told us. That is how I know Gumtropolis is not a real place. So the other thing that we talked about was the fact that they are using, that they use compound words. I just want to go over this again real quick. We talked about compound words being two words put together to form a new word and give that new word a new meaning. And we talked about headquarters, sidekick, superhero. There was earthquake that I noticed. It's made up of earth and quake. There's superhero again. Page 5 had superpowers, which is another one. And it had superhuman. It had everyone. And then the last page y'all were supposed to read yesterday was superhero again. Anybody is one. And superhero again. So those are all words that go along with the list that we had started to make here for compound words. The other thing that we talked about real briefly that I had pointed out to you guys was the use of these words here. It's. So I'm wondering if you guys remember what we call these words. And hopefully you remember that they are called contractions. So contractions are words that are made up of two words, but they use an apostrophe to replace part of the second word. So, like in the word aisle. So let me type this word in here for you. So the word aisle. It's made up of two words, and the two words are I and will. So in order to create the contraction, the apostrophe takes place of the letters W and I. They're removed to create the contraction, and they put the apostrophe in its place. So in this story, there were several contractions as well. There's another one right here. Oops. We got can't. So we can add that in here. Can't is can not. Let's see. Oops. There is I'm, which is I am. Here's I'll again. I will. On here, there's another. There's a couple I'les on here for I will. And here we go right here with I'll and wasn't. So wasn't is a contraction for the word was not. So if we were to change that sentence and say, I was not born a superhero, we know that it sounds the same, or sounds like it's still correct. I was not born a superhero. But the author chose to write, I wasn't born a superhero. So the author chooses to write this way using contractions instead of the words was not, or I will, or I am, because it sounds more natural. It sounds more like our natural speaking. When we talk to our friends or we talk to other people, we don't always stretch our sentences out that way to say, I was not born a superhero. We would say, I wasn't a superhero, or I wasn't in school today. We don't usually say, I was not in school today. So the author uses contractions to make it more personable, to make it more appealing to the readers. So another thing I wanted to go over real quickly is the point of view of the story. So this is something that we've talked about in school. We talked about first person, second person, third person point of views. And this one is narrative. This particular story is narrative point of view. And I wrote up here for you guys what the definition is and what it means. So every story is told from a certain point of view. The narrative point of view is the perspective from which a story is told. So the two most common points of view our first person and third person point of view. So this story, being a narrative story, is told from both the first person point of view and the third person point of view. So for the first person, what you should remember from what we talked about when we were still in school about point of view is that first person point of view is going to be things that start with I, my, me. So I'm going to read 2 sentences to you. So the first sentence says, I love to read stories to my class. The second sentence is, the teacher loves reading stories to her class. So if you listen to those two, I love to read stories to my class, that is first person. I had the word I, and I had the word my. Now the second sentence I read to you, I said the teacher loves reading stories to her class. So I had teacher, and I had the word her. So that tells you it was third person point of view. So in the story, I noticed it says here, I am the superhero. I will save the day. It's a good thing I'm fast. So far it's all telling me, those parts are telling me it's first person. But this first page here, it's a disaster. A huge earthquake has struck the city of Gumtropolis. A building fell down and some people are trapped. They cannot get out. They can't get out. So this particular paragraph on this page is third person point of view. So the author is writing it in the third person, telling you the story, and then it goes into first person narrative, where it is the girl who's pretending to be the superhero speaking and telling you what she is doing. So tomorrow we'll go over some more first person and third person words. I'll add them to our list. I'll do that with you guys. And for tomorrow's assignment, I want you to read pages 7, 8, and 9. And we'll see what happens in those pages. I'm excited to read with you guys and find out what is going on. So what I want y'all to be looking out for are our words that we talked about, our compound words. Superpower is another compound word. Look for those. I want you to also look and notice that we have contractions throughout. Your is another one, you are. And you are going to be answering another question for your comprehension question. I will post it. And your question is going to be, what is the first thing that you need to become a superhero? So in this story, she's going to give you steps and tell you what you need to have in order to become a superhero. So after you've read pages 7, 8, and 9, you should be able to tell me what the first thing is that you need to become a superhero. So happy reading, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.